What's up, everyone? I hope y'all are doing well. It's been a while since I've uploaded any videos, and I do have some content in the works, but to be honest, I've been trying to take a break from anything YouTube related for the last week and a half or so, because if you don't already know from some of the posts I've shared across the social media channels, my grandpa, Papa Slim, passed away last weekend. It has not been easy, to say the least. The whole last week has been an emotional roller coaster for many different reasons, but you know, Papa was 94 years old. He was my best friend, and to be perfectly honest, he was one of the most down-to-earth, genuine, nicest people you would ever meet. And I've made a lot of videos with him over the years, here and there, so long-term subscribers, also, you know, a lot of people felt a connection with Papa and stuff, so that's one of the reasons I wanted to make this video. But amongst everything that happened, there were some pretty amazing things that transpired that has made this whole process a little bit easier to bear, I suppose. Papa dealt with a lot of, you know, physical stuff, physical problems throughout his life. He had really bad scoliosis, you know, had several heart issues. He had a stroke like a year and a half or so ago, broke his hip. I mean, the man is a soldier. He's been through so much, yet he's one of those types of people that just would never complain. No matter how bad he felt or no matter what was going on in his life, he was just not a complainer. He was an inspiration and a role model to me and so many other people. And what a lot of people don't know too, he was also a deputy sheriff, or a sheriff deputy for 20 years. But anyway, I encourage you to go check out my social media channels, especially Instagram. The photos that I shared of Papa, especially the one that I shared the night that he passed, ended up being the biggest post I've ever made. Because, and it kind of opened my eyes too. Like, I know I've made a lot of content with Papa over the years. Like, one of the biggest pieces was when I put that Borla exhaust for him on his Mercury Grand Marquis. And just so many people enjoyed seeing Papa. Even, you know, over the last 2 years, like, a lot of people would send me messages and comments, you know, how's Papa? How's the family going and stuff? And when I made the post the night that he passed, like, the amount of people that just came out in droves to, you know, say some of the nicest things that I've ever read on the internet was just absolutely unbelievable. And, you know, it makes me feel awesome that Papa was able to touch so many people around the world. Like, and that was my focus of what I talked about at his funeral. Like, you know, Papa was an amazing person in a lot of different ways, and made a huge impact on me. He was my main role model. He was my early inspiration for classic cars, and you know, I love Papa to death, and I'm gonna miss him. But you know, at the end of the day, I know he's in a much better place. But just the amount of impact that he's had across all walks of life, all across the world, is just something that not too many people can brag about. And I think Papa kind of low-key knew that he was a bit of an internet celebrity. He ate it up whenever I whenever I would tell him about people asking about him, people that he's never met, never would meet, but you know, just people who genuinely cared about Papa. He absolutely loved it. But the whole focus of this video is not to, you know, be a sad video or anything like that. This video is to celebrate Papa, and I was trying to figure out the right way to do this, and it's been a really hard video to edit, but I think that you guys are gonna really, really love it. I hope you do, at least. As you can see, I'm sitting in a old Ford. You may remember this old Ford from about 5 years ago when I purchased it. So I'll give you the quick Reader's Digest of how all of this came about, and how I think Papa really, really wanted this to happen. So his first car was a 1948 Ford Super Deluxe Tudor with a flathead V8, like this one. He drove it for many, many, many years, up until the point that it just wore out, and like many people back in the day, he didn't want to get rid of it. He just parked it in a field where it sat for, again, many, many years. Up until the mid-90s, when my family was still living in Florida, we were up here on vacation or whatever, visiting my grandma and grandpa, and my dad had been talking to Papa about possibly restoring it. It's something that Papa always wanted to do, but never, had the means to do it. So Dad was like, look, let me take the car down to Florida, let me fix it up, and basically he'll present it to him and do him right and bring it back to its former glory. And we'll talk about that interaction between Dad and Papa and stuff more in just a moment. But after my dad restored it, we ended up moving to North Carolina, and unfortunately, due to the moving and the house situation and the finances, my family just wasn't able to keep the car, so we had to let it go. A decision between my family and Papa, we all decided to let it go at the time. I got the wild idea 5 years or so ago to see if I can try to track down his original car. Unfortunately, we didn't have any of the records or anything like that. I could not find the car, but I ended up finding this one in South Carolina. It was an all-original car, beautiful, beautiful condition, and the closest thing I've ever seen to what his originally looked like, green and all of that stuff. So I bought it for the simple fact of being able to just that I wanted to just drive it up to Papa's house one day, show it to him, and just see his reaction, because that's what I do. I have such a deep connection with my grandfather, from helping him chrome out his Grand Marquis to taking he and my grandma out to eat fish every Friday night in high school. So I mean, we did a lot of stuff together. And we always bonded over cars. He loved it. If it had a V8 and dual exhaust, he was in. And if it had chrome on top of it, oh man, that was it. So I bought this car. I ended up having to let it go about 6 months later because it, again, was an original car and needed a lot of work. I didn't have the skill at the time to be able to work on it, nor the tools, and nobody in my area could work on it either. So instead of letting it sit outside and stuff, I decided to let it go to a gentleman who lived up north, who I knew would take care of it and work on it and preserve it. So ever since then, I have regretted it more than anything else. I've had a lot of cars that I've bought and sold over the years, but this is the one that I regretted getting rid of the most. So I, amongst searching for cars all the time like I do on eBay and Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace, I'm sure a lot of you guys do that to kill the time too, every now and then I would search for 48 Fords. Well, nothing was just quite like the one that I sold, because this one has a lot of optional extras and all of that kind of stuff, and it just had that emotional connection with Papa because of the reason I bought it and all of that. So I didn't want to just buy one, so I was like, well, I'll look, but I wasn't really serious on getting anything. But I ended up giving up the search after a few years or so. But the night that Papa passed, it was early in the morning, like right after midnight. I was back in my parents' house about 3:30 in the morning or so. I was looking on my phone, Facebook Marketplace, all that kind of stuff, just trying to take my mind off of it and get tired so I can go to sleep, and because it was a busy couple days. But anyway, something told me to look up 48 Ford, so I looked up on Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist. Nothing. I went on eBay and saw one that was remarkably familiar. Like, it was a bidding situation. I was like, that looks really nice. I clicked on it and I was like, it's green. It looks really similar to mine, but it has white wall tires and stuff. And I looked a little closer at the pictures. I was like, that has the same scratch mine did. It's got all the extra accessories mine did. And I'm like, oh my gosh, is this mine? And I scrolled down even a little bit more to the description. I was like, they even put my review in there that I filmed back in like 2013. I was like, oh my gosh, this is my car. Like, you gotta be kidding me. I was like, this is nuts. I called my wife, Crystal, woke her up at 3:30 in the morning. I was like, dear, I'm sorry to wake you, but this is major. I was like, I need this. I don't need to buy another car. I don't want to buy another car necessarily. I got too many other things going on, but I was like, this is my car. This showed back up for a reason. Something told me to look up 48 Ford, and there it was. The car that I regretted selling, the car that reminded me of Papa, it was there. Not just that, but the whole powertrain had been rebuilt. There was a bunch of other stuff that had been done, which I'll show you a quick at the end of the video. I know I've rambled on way longer than I thought I would, but it was just incredible. So the next morning, or several hours later, when normal people wake up, I called the guy. He was a broker for the gentleman who was selling it, and I was like, hey, what can we do to get this done right now? So we agreed upon a price. I wired the money immediately, and I was like, done. This is my car. I'm never getting rid of it. I was like, thank you, Papa, for making this happen. I know he did it. I know he had a hand with finding this car. He wanted to bring this back to me and the channel so we can make content on it. And just like that Mercury, Papa will live on through all of this and the content that we can make from it and stuff, and I'm just so thankful for that. Man, this is hard. But anyway, I decided to film a road trip video of picking this up. It ended up being one of the best road trips I've ever taken with my dad, my friend Chris. Even Chris Fix decided to meet up with us. We had to go to Maryland, and he drove a couple hours or so to come hang out and stuff, which I'm very grateful for that. It's always awesome hanging out with friends. Anyway, so I guess without further ado, here is the story of our road trip going up. We'll talk about the significance of this car with the one that Papa had, that my dad restored, and yeah, we'll pick it up, show you all that stuff, and then after we get back to the house, I'll give you a quick digest version of the stuff that has been enhanced on the car. And anyway, yeah, thanks for bearing with me, guys. I'll see you in a moment. Alright guys, we've been in Maryland for a little while now. We have about an hour left before we finally get to the car. I have my dad Bill with me, I have Chris in the back seat, and yeah, it's been about a 6.5 hour drive from North Carolina. It wasn't too bad. Left at the crack of dawn this morning.
You know, when you go in to drive to get something, I'm kind of excited to get there, so I feel like it really hasn't been that long of a drive so far.
No, we've been talking a lot and jamming out and building. What do you say? Building memories.
We're making memories. Just like that last one we picked up in Rhode Island. Boy, we got some memories from that one.
Oh, that was stupid. we a while back I bought a 65 Ford Fairlane Sports Coupe that I don't have anymore, but we drove 13 or so hours up, picked the car up, and turned around and came right back home. That should have been probably an overnight trip.
I think I slept for about 3 days after that when I got home.
Especially since you wouldn't let me drive.
I wouldn't let you drive because I just knew I could pull that car and that trailer, and I wanted to do it for you, and I wanted you to relax and enjoy the trip with me, and I'm stubborn, I guess, old and stubborn.
Hey, well, I'm mastering the helm of this ship today, so.
Yes, you are.
I might make you drive on the way back, though.
Oh, bite me. Yeah, I'm gonna do that because all the stress and the pressure of having that car behind me.
No, I just want to take a nap.
Oh, okay, it's all about me, right?
Well, I wanted to see if you could give everybody an idea of the significance of, when you first restored Papa's 48 and the interaction that you had with him and how it all came about and all that kind of stuff.
I knew he had the car. I don't know if a 48 Ford was what I was thinking of or whatever, but it meant so much to Papa. I wanted to restore it back to its glory.
Where was it?
It was in Sandy Ridge, North Carolina, at his old home place where he was raised.
That's right.
Grew up. It was sitting in the field. But in North Carolina, we got that red clay. There was 6 inches of red clay under that car, so the metal was completely preserved.
That's awesome.
And it probably took about 3 days to power wash all that mud from underneath the car. But then it was in perfect shape, so I just kept going further with the car. Didn't let Papa know what I was doing. Didn't show him updates. Didn't show him pictures or anything.
So you agreed you would fix it up, but he just didn't know what you were going to do.
I asked him to let me just do what I wanted to do to the car, and then I would put it in front of him when it was finished. I said, here it is. And his eyes...
he didn't even know about the progress?
He didn't even know about the progress.
That's awesome.
So his eyes went huge. And then when he jumped in that car, the first thing that he did was toot, toot, toot. He wanted to see if that horn worked. Papa was all about that horn.
That's
he loved
so cool.
horns. But he also, which everybody probably already knows, he loved his exhaust. He loved that backfire. And I put little 2-inch two pipes, dual exhaust coming out of the back, and they were 2 inches. So it had a little backfire at the end.
Any glass packs or just straight pipes?
Just straight pipes.
Awesome.
And he loved it. You should have seen his face going up and down the road. And then he put you in his lap.
I'm assuming the original engine and stuff had been locked up. And...
The original engine was locked up. I happened to know someone that worked at a marina, and they happened to have one at a marina that was fully functional. It was in excellent shape. It was rebuilt. So I bought it off of them, and then the powertrain and everything was fine. I just had that worked on a little bit here and there, but I rewired the car. I changed it from 6 volt to 12. I modernized it enough, but didn't take away from the year that it was built. Just
made it more usable.
It made it more user-friendly, yes. But still had that stiff steering wheel, but I redid the interior. I had the dash all done in wood grain. It was unbelievable, and it was black, gloss black, 5 coats of paint with tons of clear.
That's awesome. What did he do when he first saw it done?
His eyes were the size of golf balls. He loved it, couldn't believe it. Had to ask every single question about every little bit of the interior. The wood grain dash.
Papa was extremely detailed oriented.
Detail oriented. He liked to educate himself on everything. He was always someone that wanted to learn from something. He wanted to know how the process went for everything that was done to the car. The interior, wanted to know how it was done. I had a guy that was an artist, and he redid the whole dash in wood grain.
Wow.
So it looked like real wood. And he just could not fathom that was not wood. That's how good it was done. But Papa, as Papa is, he had to ask, now, how did they get those lines to look like wood and all that stuff?
Yeah.
You reckon me and her could take it up and down the street one time?
Go ahead.
While you video it?
Go ahead. Go get the keys.
The clips that you guys have already been seeing so far is from a home movie that my mom made back when he and my grandma came down to visit us when we were still living in Florida, and he was seeing everything and getting to experience it, and I think that was the first time she saw it too.
Yes, yes.
But they were going around it and stuff. It was so funny seeing Papa sitting in that car and twiddling that steering wheel back and forth.
Yeah, he was just sitting there going like this. Honk, honk.
But I don't know how little I was.
I think you were 6, maybe 5 or 6.
Yeah, I can't even remember it, and I wish I did.
You still had your little glasses on.
Yep. And I from the video and stuff, the coolest thing was Papa. So he wanted to go take it for a drive, and I think you were gone.
No, I was there.
Were you there?
Yeah, I was there.
Oh, okay. I couldn't remember. But as soon as Papa pulled out into the street, he took off in that sucker.
Oh my goodness!
He lined that thing out.
He wanted to see whatever kind of power was on that car. I mean, it was funny to see the smile on his face and the way he felt at that time, and being part with Mama Nene in the car and having you in his lap.
And as soon as he came back, so he went down the street, got used to the transmission again and all that stuff, and they
Right.
turned around and came back, and then you can just hear Mama Nina in the background say like, she threw her hand up and she was like, double clutch it. And then like right as he was getting ready to come across the camera, I like leaned across her and shouted, and he was like, he's gonna double clutch it. And he just down the street.
I told him, I said, when he got out of the car, I said, you haven't skipped a beat. You learned that car right away. He goes, I know how to drive all these cars.
Look at Kyle in there, Mama, Nene, and Papa.
Well, that's the whole reason I bought this car in the first place, like 3-4 years or so ago. I can't even remember now. Things are just...
It was 4 years.
Everything's just running together, but I just wanted to buy the car that I felt represented the way his was back in the day, like when he was still driving it and stuff. And I just bought it for the sole purpose of being able to drive it up on his driveway, have him come out and just see how he reacted. And I can imagine it was similar to when he saw his all duded up and stuff. I'm sure
I think he might have been just a tad more excited with yours because it came from his grandson.
Yeah.
And I think the special
it was
bond,
awesome.
The special bond that you have with your papa, I think it was hard for him to fathom that you would do something at the young age that you are for him. And
well, the whole reason I got my love for classic cars in the first place is all from Papa. Like,
absolutely.
You know, back when I was younger, he would take me to local car shows and all that stuff. And I've had a bunch of older cars over the years, and every time, you know, I got something or decided to take a trip, I'd come bring it and show Papa and take him for a drive around the street. I have videos on the channel from back in the day that, you know, long-term subscribers remember, like on the posts that I made on Instagram. You know,
you both love your chrome.
It was amazing.
You both love your exhausts.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to uncork this 48 a little bit. I think he'd be disappointed if we didn't make it a little bit louder.
We're gonna have to do that. We're gonna have to do that for sure.
But anyway, I'm super excited to check out this car. It's supposedly had a lot of work. I honestly can't remember the description. It was such a blur when I saw it and bought it almost immediately that I don't even remember. I saw the car and I had to have it. I knew it was meant to be.
It was meant to be. Papa had something to do with you finding that car that night. Something drew you into looking for that car that night, and I think Papa was putting you in the right direction. And I think it was to make you heal a little bit yourself to be able to find all these things all at that time. So
I just can't wait to get in it. I didn't think I'd ever find one like it again, and it's just amazing to think that mine just showed back up.
My mind is blown just figuring just you being able to get that car again.
Yeah. Well, let's see where we're at. We have not that much longer to go. So anyway, I'm gonna get back to paying attention. See you guys in a moment.
What do you think?
Pretty. It's good.
What's a purdy?
Hurry.
What's a purdy?
Get finished with it. Get those chrome strips across the side and in the front.
He's gonna die. I'll get them chrome strips.
Even one goes down there. Well, that's what sets it off. That black with the chrome strips.
Did you get it inside?
You want to get inside and sit down?
Nope. Why? Let him go.
You can pretend you're driving that mojo.
Right up there?
I think it's right up here.
Oh,
There it is.
yeah.
There it is.
Woo!
Looks good.
Hopefully we can turn this behemoth around when we get up here.
He's got plenty of driveway. You can do it.
Okay. Look at that.
I got it shining.
Navigate this driveway.
Yeah.
pretty good.
Oh, they got places to turn. Yeah,
Looks pretty good.
it really does.
Wow. Let's go check it out.
Yeah.
Wow. That's it. Still got all the same little scratches and imperfections it had when I had it.
Oh, the engine looks awesome.
Yeah, it does. Look at the bolts on top.
Yeah.
Oh, Lindsay.
Oh.
I was sitting there, Lindsay. I text you back. Laugh out loud. I can't get the 48 started. Then that name sounds familiar. Maybe the man I bought it from.
That's awesome. The car's in a lot better shape than I thought it was going to be. A lot of the weather stripping's been replaced. A lot more stuff in the engine's been done. And we'll go over it's more of the specifics later on. But I guess now just got to try to reposition the trailer and get this thing loaded up so we can refuel and we got it. Head down the road.
Yeah, baby.
Awesome. So we got a special guest. You know, in my corner of North Carolina, there's not a lot of YouTubers, but when in Rome, what's up, man? Gosh, that was painful. Appreciate you coming out, man.
Of course, anything to help out.
All right,
Oh, yeah.
let's do this. That would be my guess.
Yeah.
Let's go to whatever we're going to.
I answer.
It don't make any difference, believe me.
You ready? All right.
Hurry down, let go.
Keep it straight. I'm just gonna watch the back wheels.
It ain't going nowhere.
All right, you ready?
Back wheels don't care.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever sat in a car this old.
70 years old this year.
What year is it? 43?
48.
48?
Well, 70 last year.
Look at this.
Isn't that cool?
This is really neat. And the gauges are so cool.
I know.
It's neat to see what they did back in the day.
It's just so simple and stylish.
And that's the clock over here?
Yep.
And this is a radio.
Yeah. It doesn't work anymore, but it worked when I had it. Like when you turn it on, it's a tube radio. It has to warm up before it'll work.
That's so cool.
And I think they called it a Wonder Bar. You see that plastic bar across the middle?
This?
Yeah. You would press that and it would cycle through your preset stations.
Oh, that is awesome. And that's a heater down here.
I
Yeah.
have a place to fix that.
Really?
I do have a place that fixes that.
Awesome.
I need to get a picture of this.
For sure. So cool. I just can't believe it's the same one. I mean, it's it's in such better shape than it was when I had it. I mean, look at those beautiful white wall tires. I mean,
high five!
Yeah. I mean, it's 70 years old. There's always going to be something that needs doing, but it's super easy to work on, and you know, I'd rather have it in its original condition than trying to modernize and change things and make it reliable. Who needs that? Who needs that?
No one.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, we're all fueled up. I think it's time to get some lunch. I'm tired. Get out for a little while.
Lunch sounds good to me, son. Let's get her done.
Chris Fix is buying, right?
Yeah. Show me. I'll buy.
Kidding. All right. I guess that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Hit the road.
All right. Let's eat. Well, we are on the road back to North Carolina.
Whew. It's been a long day already.
It's a fun day.
Fun day.
That was really nice of Chris to come down and hang out.
It really was.
I needed it. It was nice having somebody else's help too.
That is true. He was a big help.
But
you can never have enough help.
no. Ah, so sunny. I'm gonna go ahead and end this portion of the video now so I can put my visor down. But yeah, we got about 6.5 hours technically, but with this car on the back, take a little bit extra time, take it easy, be safe, all that good stuff.
But also the ride back ought to be a pleasant ride because we know we're pulling a nice present behind us.
Yeah, for sure. What an awesome trip.
I love looking back and seeing that thing. What an awesome body style.
So sick. I love that green.
Just like so relaxed
Sigh of
right
relief.
now.
Yes.
Well, we
plan
still
came
got to get
together.
home. We still got a trailer in there.
The plan came together.
Yeah, it did for sure.
Teamwork.
Yeah. Memories.
Memories.
Anyway, all right. I'll see you guys in a bit. We'll get the car back to the house and figure out what's next for it. See ya. All right, guys, we made it back with the car safe and sound. Now let me give you a closer look. I put a link in the description box if anybody wants to see the review that I did on it back in the day, but from the outside, it's pretty much exactly like it was before, except there are now 5 brand new Coker white wall tires. The 5th one is the spare tire in the trunk. They look awesome. I still want to get some chrome beauty rings to finish it off, but it looks so good. It's definitely driver quality. I'd love to repaint it one day, but for now it's just got the right amount of imperfections that you don't really have to worry about it all that much. All of this trim is original. A bunch of it does need to be straightened out here and there, but again, it looks great just the way it is. And it gives me plenty of stuff to do later on. This stuff down here, the little bump outs right there and the little side flanges, those were all optional accessories. I just love this body style. It's so cool. The way the roofline carries back in one piece and basically it just slopes down like that. This body style was known as the Tudor, which was the two-door sedan. It is extremely roomy back there and it actually has footrests for extra comfort. The Super Deluxe was a higher trim level of the Ford Deluxe, so it had extra chrome, extra fancy bits, and you can get it with either a flathead 6 or the flathead V8. 1948 was actually the last year of the quote-unquote pre-war Fords, meaning this model was introduced before World War II. It was produced, I think, for a couple years, 2-3 years or so. Then production halted, and it resumed in 1946 with refreshed styling, some extra doodahs, and then, it ended up in 1948. All right, let's go ahead and start it up. The key is in, the power is on. Just press the clutch and hit the button on the left-hand side of the dash. This thing runs fantastic. 3 on the tree, 3-speed manual on the column. There's a heater down there, an AM radio, which unfortunately doesn't work anymore. There was a lot of work done to the interior. All of the window trim, front, sides has all been repainted. The windshield is new. There's some extra sound deadening, new trim panels back with the firewall and across the sides there. It's just so cool. All things considered, this thing drives fantastic. There's always going to be little quirks here and there. There's always going to be little things that need adjusting or replacing because, again, this is the original powertrain, but like I said at the beginning, all of this has been rebuilt. Now, I had everything fully serviced yesterday and actually got everything that I needed through O'Reilly Auto Parts. A new deep cycle heavy duty 6-volt battery, some lead substitute to use with non-ethanol fuel, got a drop-in Wix oil filter over there. This thing is set up proper. I love those chrome studs right there. That wasn't on there when I had it. Everything has been degreased. All the bushings have been replaced, the motor mounts, a new windshield wiper jug system. The whole car has been rewired. It's just so awesome. I'm sure you guys will get a kick out of this too. The gas cap, or the inner one, is electrically operated. So you just hit this little button right here. Probably heard it pop. I have no idea how old this thing is, but it says Snap Up Gas Cap Company out of Ashland, Kentucky. That is just wicked cool. The interior is still all original, aside from all the repainted window trim that I mentioned earlier. It's the original fabric, all still in pretty good shape for the most part, except for that little rip that must have happened at some point in the last 5 years, but no big deal. You could put a blanket or something over it. But like I said, extremely roomy back seat. It's got those little footrests back there. It's like you're sitting in a big couch. It's wonderful. And the seat, instead of just flipping up, it goes up and away to make ingress and egress a little bit better. And now for the trunk real quick. Just grab this handle, twist. It's a pretty good amount of space too. This is the original mat and all the trunk panels. You can tell because they're in terrible shape, but still super cool to see. Got that full-size spare tire in there with that Coker white wall looking nice and proper. And here's just a quick look at the passenger side. Love these door handles. Well guys, that pretty much concludes this video. I hope y'all enjoyed. I wish Papa could be here with us to experience this car again, but I know he's looking down, smiling, just saying, that is a humdinger. That was his favorite way to describe cool stuff, humdinger. But this car is just great. You know, it's always gonna need little things here and there. It needs some stuff right now. I'll probably need to change up a gas tank. There might be a lifter that needs adjusting. The temperature gauge doesn't work, the fuel gauge, but it's 70 years old. It's supposed to have stuff wrong with it, but it runs and drives, and that's all that matters, because this thing is so much fun. Driving something from this era is just unlike anything else out there. It's so simple, so primitive, but you know, the flathead doesn't make a lot of power, but it's got so much character. It sounds great, especially when you have straight pipes or glass packs or something like that. But anyway, I know this was a long video, but it was very well worth it. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you haven't subscribed already, consider doing so, because I have a lot more content where that came from. We're gonna jump back into the projects really soon as I finally start catching up and getting back into the swing of things. But anyway, don't forget to leave a like below, guys. I really appreciate the support, and I will see you on the next one. Take care.